It is lunchtime, so let's get over to the kitchen and find out what is cooking for lunch today with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Hi, Judy.
Scott, I think I got you today. I think you're going to like the recipe because it involves bacon and a lot of bacon. I'm using applewood smoked bacon, and I'm bringing together beautiful Honeycrisp apples for the inside, whether you call it dressing, stuffing, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to teach you a really fun way to stuff it into apples. We're going to stuff the Honeycrisp stuffing with the pecans and everything into apples that are based on a pan with butter and cider. Going to really bring that flavor. This is a great way to serve your dressing with sliced turkey. Maybe you're ordering smoked turkey out from one of the restaurants that are offering it, so you just want to do a couple neat sides. This is great for up to 8 people. Then it gets to be a little bit too much. So I have about 6 apples ready to go. Cut off the tops, core them out, little butter and cider is on the bottom. And we're going to bring that together with a lot of sauteing and that bacon I mentioned. I'll be back in just a few minutes to start cooking.
Back over to the kitchen now, check in again with lunch and Judy Gallagher.
I like any health benefits to a good strong cup of coffee, Scott. So I've started ahead a little bit. I hope you don't mind. The bacon's cooked. I saved probably about 3 tablespoons of bacon fat and put that aside because I'm going to use it again in a little bit. So I'm sauteing shallots, onions, and celery. Added a little more butter and a little more olive oil, about a tablespoon of each, okay? I've taken a loaf of bread, and this is awesome because you can just pick it up from like a Yoder's, or because they carry the same type of bread as the Bavarian Bread Company. Whole Foods has really good crusty bread. You want to lay it out in a pan 1 to 2 nights to get it stale, okay? And then you can it's easier even to rip it apart once it's stale. So back to our sauteed vegetables. Now I'm going to add about 2 cups of Honeycrisp apples. And even when I sometimes say like peeled, don't worry about it. If it's really, really important, like in baking to be peeled, I'll specify. But honestly, I'm going to leave the skin right in there. I think it's going to work perfectly like this. We're going to add a little more butter, and now let's talk about seasonings. We always have to use some of that Bell's Poultry seasoning. I just love it. Anything that does not have MSG. So you want that sage, and maybe a little celery salt. Definitely some regular salt. The Bell seasoning doesn't have salt in it, which is great for people that are looking to omit salt. But I'm going to add some salt, a little bit. You can also use anything like no salt, anything like that. Herbs are going to give you great seasoning. Now you can either use some fresh chopped parsley. You could even use cilantro in it. And when cilantro is kind of mixed in stuffing, it's not as intense for people, but some people don't like it, so parsley is just a good base. 1 hit of acid, okay? So we're just going to take the juice of about, a little less than a half a lemon. And then I have my little Harvest Blend packet that I love to get. You got to shop at those little stores and pick up your little seasonings, and these make great stocking stuffers. So this has a combination of different seasoning salts and some cinnamon, so it's going to bring it into the dressing. Now, I am going to deglaze with white wine, a cup of apple cider, and a cup of chicken stock. Here's a great thing to put on your shopping list next week as we stock up. If you're doing a lot of cooking, including the gravy, get the box that comes with a 6-pack of organic chicken stock. You're going to use it, trust me. A little bit on the bottom. When we come back and show you how to stuff the apples, and we'll finish making this great bacon dressing. Time to pop in the pecans, too.
All right, let's get back to the kitchen. Chef Judy today had me at bacon.
And I have plenty for you, Scott. You add in apples and butter and we got it all. So right now we're going to add 2 beaten eggs. I pulled the pan off the heat for about 10 minutes now, but you can still see it's warm. We don't want to start to scramble the eggs, but because it has the egg put into it, which is going to be the great binder that you need, you do need to make sure that this is going to be baked properly. So you can use your food service thermometer. I always have an Insta-Read ready to go, and check that to be about 150 degrees. Now what I'm going to do, that's after it goes in the oven, by the way. I'm going to take some pecans. I prefer to toast my pecans lightly And then I'll just put them in a little bowl separate, and I have labels. I probably go through pounds of pecans this time of year, so I like the toasted when it's going in a type of dressing. Now you may recall we already scooped out the apples because we're going to serve our dressing in roasted apples. You can serve it in roasted squash, all sorts of different things, but I think for Scott Dennis, as long as we get him a good portion of bacon, he's going to be fine. So that's about to go in the oven. Let's pull this one out just so you can take a peek at it. Remember, I used that cider, both cider, a little dry white wine, and some chicken stock. And there, look at that. Isn't that just a great way for a small group to serve your dressing? And maybe you're getting like smoked turkey already sliced. Can you imagine how beautiful that plate is going to be? I won't, if you cheat and buy anything pre-made, I won't tell. I always say do 2 things homemade. Do 2 things completely homemade and then switch your pans and they'll be fine. So basically you can just put your apples on top, or you can just, your dressing like this, a little butter, and you're going to cover it with aluminum foil. It's going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes with aluminum foil on it, especially with those apples. If you have the apples on top, then you're going to take that off just to brown that up a little bit for extra goodness. It will be ready to go. So when we come back, we have our bacon stuffed apples. Perfect for Thanksgiving, a la Scott Dennis.
If it's bacon, it's got to be good, right?
I always know there's certain days of the week that I'm just going to get an extra smile off of you and Scott. So you can do it this traditional way, the Honeycrisp apples, the bacon, the pecans, but to stuff them in the Cortland apples, little cider, and especially if it's a small group, you know, maybe you want to just accentuate with some sliced smoked turkey from a restaurant or ham or whatever, but 1 or 2 items like that, really fun.
You know, when they say in terms of food safety, you probably shouldn't put it in the turkey. You should probably cook it separately.
I stopped doing that, to be honest, about 10 years ago. Yeah, my mom used to stuff it in the turkey. You know what? All you need to do is save a 1/4 cup of turkey drippings and drizzle it into there.
There you go.
And then you bake it in the oven. It tastes the same. It's all great and safe.
Yeah, good stuff. Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the view, and the recipes will be there.
You got it.
Judy, thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Scott.